thank you everybody for coming tonight. First, I want you guys to give a round of applause for yourself for showing up tonight. My name is Carlos Pena. I guess I can say I was the first employee ever to be hired at LightHouse. That was 3 years ago, and I gotta say it's probably one of the best, or three of the best 3 years of my life. Having to work with Josiah and Catherine has been a pleasure. And it's sad, but Josiah's leaving, and this is why we're here tonight. And I'm glad all you guys made it here tonight for this special occasion. Before we start, I would like to say thank you to a few of our sponsors that we have tonight. For one, People's Bank. Thank you so much. Round of applause. People's Bank. They've been a great help to us at LightHouse. We also have Phillips Insurance, Nerd Summit. We have HL Dumpsy, and we also have an anonymous LightHouse family. And thank you very much. You are in for an amazing evening tonight in this amazing place. We thank Mill One for providing this place for us. It's very nice of them. It's the first time I've been here, and it looks amazing. It really does. I also want to make sure that everybody knows we want to send a shout out to Aaron Vega, our state rep. A very special person at LightHouse, also on the board. He's done great, amazing work for us throughout the years, supported us greatly, and we really appreciate that. Also, Gladys Lebron Martinez, wherever you are. Where are you? There she goes. She reminds me of Mighty Mouse. That's what she reminds me of. She is so strong, yet so small, yet so big. Again, Gladys, you have been a very great support to LightHouse, and we appreciate you very, very much. Without further ado, I want to say thank you to you guys for supporting LightHouse. This is our community. This is our LightHouse community. You guys are all part of it, and thank you so much for all your support throughout the years. The first person we want to introduce tonight as a speaker is Mickey Bull. Mickey has been a tremendous asset to LightHouse this last year. He has helped us incorporating a program which has been a success and is being renewed at LightHouse, and it's a great asset. And we thank you so much. Give a round of applause to Mickey.
So they asked me to talk about Josiah. And when I think about Josiah, I don't even know where he is. Oh, geez, he's right here. Man, I can't get away from you. When I think about Josiah, I think about fishing. I don't even know. Do you fish? No. He doesn't even fish. He's going to Minnesota, so maybe he's going to have to start. Why fishing? Well, because of a student that we share. This student, I think 17 years old, has had a lot of difficult things in life and a very difficult educational road. He was definitely on the cusp of giving up. Why? Well, he has trouble reading and writing, and when you have trouble reading and writing in school, you get a very clear message. You're dumb. He failed multiple times in school. So the message you got, you can't do this. You got arrested in our schools. Message, we don't trust you. Yet he persisted, thank God, but he was on the cusp of giving up. So through this really great partnership, we got in the LightHouse. And a week after he was there, Josiah calls me up and says, hey man, I gotta tell you about this student. This kid, he loves fishing. And I'm like, that's great, you gonna go fishing with him? He goes, no. Like, he not only loves fishing, he knows everything there is to know about fish. Like, he could be an ichthyologist. I had to look that up. It means a fish scientist. And so we went on from there. We had this conversation about why that could be so important for this student. And why does that story stay with me when I think about Josiah, the non-fisherman? It's because Josiah and all of the team at LightHouse, within a week, figured out that this kid's love of fishing meant more than just going to the Holyoke Dam and catching striped bass. They understood that it potentially was the hook for academic learning that had escaped this student for many years. And they had the structure to make that possible. So whether the student is going to ultimately achieve the educational goals that he's got and that everybody's got for him or not, yet to be seen, but he's in far better shape than he was a year ago. And that is entirely due to the team at LightHouse that Josiah and Catherine support. And I'm very happy for that. So, who am I? My name's Mickey Buell, and I am the Executive Director of Opportunity Academy. I work for the Holyoke Public Schools, and I started working for Steve Zreich, the superintendent here, 2 years ago. And my main job for the past 2 years has been to help facilitate the redesign of the high schools in Holyoke. Some really great work going on there. Some people that in this audience are doing great work. Jake, Juan, Jason, I know I got to see here, are all Holyoke Public Schools people who are really making a big change in our high schools. But the first thing that Steve asked me to do when he hired me was, he said, I need you to start an alternative high school. And I'd just done that, so I knew what that took. And it was May, and he wanted that to start in August. Okay, that's not going to happen. But we had to do something, and what we ended up doing was creating a set of alternative pathways to a diploma for students for whom Holyoke High School and Dean don't work. And in every district in America, there are students in that high school that a traditional large high school doesn't work. So we created a set of pathways that now is called Opportunity Academy, and we created this partnership with Josiah and Catherine to have some of our students attend LightHouse, remain Holyoke Public School students, and complete their education there. And so this shared student, our ichthyologist, was one of the first 7 students in this year's class that are doing that. And I, having just gotten to see all of the graduates from LightHouse last week, I can't wait for the time that our ichthyologist friend is on that stage graduating. It'll be thrilling. Now, through this partnership, what is it that I've learned about Josiah? Well, I really think Josiah has a unique set of skills. I have had an interesting career, and I've gotten to work with probably 200 or more school leaders, principals, superintendents, and others, and in all kinds of states, 4 different states, Puerto Rico, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, private schools, international schools, high poverty schools, very well-off schools. And so I've seen a lot, and there are certain skills that school leaders have. Rarely do school leaders have a full set of skills that allows them to both have the passion, commitment that is inherently necessary for some place like LightHouse, but also the vision and the operational panache to understand what it takes to actually make it function day to day. I think Josiah's got all 4 of those. And it's a pretty unique combination, and it made me realize I've been soft on you. We talk about this going to Minnesota and like getting some really nice fun job that you get paid next to nothing for and make the world a better place. And like, no, that's not good enough. Like, you need to start a school. Like, schools matter. You know that. And all those other good things won't matter as much. You need to start a school. So. LightHouse, Minnesota, we'll give you 2 years. Carlos, are you coming back up, or am I introducing Mildred? Am I introducing Mildred? All right. I got to meet Mildred 2 years ago when I came on and talk about passion and commitment. I've been impressed, even from afar, how much you display. So Mildred Lefebvre, one of our Holyoke Public School Committee members and a passionate supporter of everything about improving the educational outcomes for students here. Thank you.
Thank you, and I don't know how I'm going to top his speech, but I'm going to try. So really, first I want to start off by welcoming everyone this evening here today. Families, students, board members of LightHouse, elected officials, and members of the community, and supporters of LightHouse. So we're not really here just this evening just to say goodbye to Josiah. We're also here to talk about the impacts that LightHouse has had on families and the students that also attend LightHouse. And I'm here today not because I'm a Holyoke School Committee member talking in support of LightHouse, but because I myself am a parent of a student that attends LightHouse. And how did I get to LightHouse? How did I find out about LightHouse? There's a story behind that. And the story was that I wasn't going to lose another child. I lost one already, and I wasn't going to give up on my only daughter because I have 4 boys and 1 girl. It's been a tough struggle. It really has over the years. When my daughter attended the Holyoke Public Schools, she suffered a great deal that led her to the point of just wanting to end her life, and I wasn't really willing to risk that. At the end of her 7th year at Kelly School, I was asked for her not to return to maintain her safe. And there's people out here in this room that have known me for quite some time, but you really don't know the stories that I have, or the pain that I've suffered, or the many paths that I've had to take, and the many decisions that I've made in my life just to maintain my family together. So I'm not really one that expresses it. I don't talk about it because I'm very reserved and I keep it quiet. But I think today is a special day because, Josiah, you came into our lives and you've really helped our family grow. You've helped my daughter grow, and so has the staff here. So going back on that 7th grade year, my daughter had already attempted multiple times to just not want to be on this earth anymore. And I've had to make the tough decision of having her put into a hospital to see if she can get that treatment, to better herself, and to be able to come back. She continued struggling into her 8th grade year. And that was the point where from August to December, this is a child that only went there for 10 days. From August that the school started to December, she only went for 10 days. And I was very concerned because all she worried about, it was, I can't go to school today, Mom. I have a stomach ache. No, I can't go to school. She became so isolated. And she wouldn't want to come out of her room, or she would sleep, which she still sleeps now, till 1 o'clock in the afternoon at times. But you saw the depression in her eyes. And I put a lot of blame on myself, and people have said, it's not for you to blame. But I have to stop and really think about that, because I kind of still feel that I failed her in some way because I should have taken the steps earlier. But my daughter has grown so much here. So when I heard about LightHouse through, a lot of people know Nelson Roman, our Ward 2 city councilor, he was like, bring her down, Mildred, trust me, you're gonna love this place. So I'm like, okay, Nelson, I'll try it out. Because I had already pulled her come the Christmas vacation. She was never going back to Kelly School. I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I said I wasn't gonna risk losing her for good. So I needed to keep my daughter alive. I needed to keep her, try to get that motivation back. I wanted to see the light in her eyes again. So I took a chance. I walked in. My husband didn't come with me the first time. I walked in and I talked to Nelson. I saw the colors. I saw how bright it was. I saw the people, the students. And I was like, wow, I like this school. But I needed to make sure my husband liked the school. So now it was for my husband to come and for my daughter to come. And so at first she was kind of reluctant because school, what did she think about? The worst. All she thought about is, I'm not going to like it. I'm going to be sick. I just don't want to go anymore. I'm ready to quit school. And I wasn't going to let her quit. So we showed up, and there was this one student there that she became very close with even on the first day. They used to call her Kit Kat. And she grew a bond with her immediately. And that day, then I know that I was offered for my daughter to come one day to kind of just shadow the other students and see how the day was. And when she came home, she was like, I love it, Mom. I have to go there. And I was like, okay, you want to go there? I'm happy. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, let's do the budget, right? That was the first thing I went, we're going to do the budget, we're going to make this happen. And I'm not going to regret that decision that I made, because it was the best decision I've ever done in my life, was to sign that paperwork and sign it every year that, yes, my daughter's coming back to LightHouse. Because now I have a child who is more confident in herself. This year, she taught a class, which I'm so proud of her. Her artwork it's amazing. Her depression and her anxiety shows in her artwork. She puts her passion into that and her own poems. And I am so proud of her in all that how she's grown from a girl that was driving me to pull my hairs out to a young woman who's now more vocal, more, it's hard to explain, where she's really looking at helping and changing the world one day at a time. And if it's helping out a peer who's down and out and is depressed themselves, the thing is that she knows because she's been there. And she's grown to the point of using her ways of coping and working with that other peer to develop them so that they themselves are learning how to cope through their struggles. And that, I don't believe she would have learned that in a public school setting. But we have the staff and that one-to-one here at LightHouse who was able to do that for her and to help her through it and to help her process things and to really bring me the Natanya that, oh, I didn't want to say it, but I did anyways, my bad, to bring me my daughter back. That's what I needed. I needed my daughter back. And I am so grateful, Josiah. I'm grateful to all the staff here at LightHouse for what you have done, those who are still here, those who have come and gone. Without you guys are it's another piece to my family, and it keeps growing because she hasn't been the only one that I've struggled with. So I've met a lot of people in my path that have strengthened our family throughout all these years. And I'm so grateful. You are going to be sorely missed here. I'm going to miss you, and I'm sure there's so many others. But if there's one thing I got to say here is that And I'm going to read specifically what I wrote because I think it's more impacting saying it. So as a school committee member for the city of Holyoke, I recognize that students have individual needs that may not be met in public school settings, and having alternative pathways for students is vital in providing them the opportunity to succeed. And LightHouse is that opportunity. And I'm hoping it just continues to grow. Thank you, Josiah, for all that you do for us. I'm not a crier. I hold it till I get home. I can, because then I really look ugly. But so now I'd like for everybody to join me in welcoming Nathaniel Marrero up to the stage.
Okay. There's a lot of faces here. Let's start by saying I've had a lot of mentors that impacted my life in a different way. They all helped me, though, to be more positive and more just like my self-esteem's been boosted to all-time high because of all the help that LightHouse has given me, all the help that Catherine, Josiah, Carlos, Ariel, I always say her name wrong, but she was my advisor from last year. Aureli's, okay. Janine, Mark, like, it's great. I've been at LightHouse for 3 years, and it's been better than my year and 3 weeks in a public school. It wasn't fun going to my public school and not wanting to be there every day. It was really negative for me. The first year I came to LightHouse, I was shy, quiet. I didn't know how to express myself. I didn't really want to go to class, but I did. I did. Because there was people there that really, that I've really made bonds with, like advisors, teachers, students. My second year, I slacked a little bit. I wasn't really in classes because I felt like I wasn't gonna get anywhere. But my advisors helped me to see what the important picture was. And that important picture was in life that education was the key to my future and the bright path. When I was in the darkest place, they helped me see that I had a future. My third year, Josiah took all the steps necessary to make sure that my progress kept going. With Josiah, I really stepped up and focused on nothing but school. It's gonna be a tough few days after he leaves. I don't want to get too emotional. Not. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll try not to. Oh man. So yeah, I really stepped up and focused on nothing but school again. My education, my health were my #1 priorities. If it wasn't for the help of Catherine and Josiah starting up this great personalized education program, I wouldn't have met great friends that I've grown big bonds with, great advisors that they feel like my family. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for all the people that I've met at Lighthouse. It's overall it was great. It was so great. I just graduated last week. I'm excited. Thank you. I already have an amazing full-time job. PDC Drywall in West Springfield. And now in September, I'm going to stick to take the construction management class. And at Lighthouse, I met such wonderful people, like Janine, and other mentors. I love all of you. Who helped me with my personal problems and with job opportunities. The overall support that I got from these people is amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Gotta say it 3 times, so you guys know. And it's like, that's something public school wouldn't have done for me. I'm sorry to say, Mickey, where are you? I love you. I don't know where you are, but there you are. Very great man. I felt like it wasn't good for me, public schools. I needed the support that I got from Lighthouse. I needed it then. I needed it then, and I didn't get that. So, I was on the point of giving up on school. I didn't want to go to school. My mom found this program through, I don't remember, but she did find it through a friend, a colleague. And I remember I didn't want to go the first day. And I did. I went, and I felt so welcome. It was Catherine's birthday that day. But yeah, it was like the support was amazing, truly amazing. And I'm just so thankful and so grateful for my mom, for Josiah, Catherine, Aurelius. All right, can I just say it, please? Please just let me say it once. But today I'm sad to see my advisor, my mentor, my friend is leaving us for Minnesota. Yeah. But I hope the best for him, just like he hoped the best for me. He pushed me to get out my comfort zone to help me achieve my goals. And I'll always be grateful for this man, Josiah Latent. Thank you. 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 And I am proud to say I was a 2018 graduate at LightHouse Holyoke. I did it. I did it. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. And it's been a roller coaster. Thank you. Now I want to introduce Catherine.
All right. Yeah, all right, so let me figure this thing out for a second. Okay, good? All right. So I'm Catherine Cabran. I am the co-director and co-founder of LightHouse. So you just heard from Nathaniel, and this is what we do, right? We make a space where students learn how to learn. They heal, they explore, they discover, they grow. Those are the words when we think about learning, we often think of those words, learn and grow, heal, explore. We don't always think of those words when we think of school. So this needs to change. That's a problem. And so we're changing what school can be. Josiah and I founded LightHouse, but it has all come true because of the amazing people that we've been able to attract to our team. So I want to introduce our board of directors. Almost all of them are here. So I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do. I'm gonna ask them to stand up, and then I'm gonna say each of their names, and then we can all clap at the end. Okay? So LightHouse board, would you all please stand? Thanks. So we have Dan Bequillin. There's Dan. No, you're doing it wrong. No. We'll be here all night. Jackie DeFelice, Kenzie Gillette, Lori Herrick, Intia Isaza Figueroa, Tom Sandler, Santina Ciaba Douglas, Diana Sutton Fernandez, and State Rep Aaron Vega. Each of these people brings such gifts and expertise to this organization. It's phenomenal. I encourage you to connect with them. LightHouse is off to such a successful start because of this team. I want to take another moment to introduce the staff, so we're going to do a similar thing. So LightHouse core staff, would you all please stand? All right. We have Carlos Pena, who you met at the beginning of the introduction, core staff. Luz Baez, our business manager. Ashley Sulak, core staff. Janine Chevalier, parent volunteer extraordinaire. I'd like to introduce our new intern for next year, Darian Acero. Where are you, Darian? And I'd also like to introduce, and so this, we haven't even posted this on Facebook yet, our new program director, Epi Arias. And any other Lighthouse staff, teachers, past or present, would you please stand too? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your work. This is the team that's on the ground every day, meeting our students where they are, building trust, building a new vision of what's possible. Just quickly, too, I'd like to shout out to my two daughters who are here tonight, Hope and Willow. The board and staff fuel Lighthouse. Hope and Willow are the people who fuel me. I'm driven to do everything I can to make this community and this world a better place because they live here. So it's the end of the year at LightHouse, and we ask each student to give a presentation on something that he worked on during the year, whatever was meaningful to them. Kids show their art, their robots, their computer programs. It's really lovely. They're so brave, and their community of peers is so kind and supportive. I think it's quite rare. Last week during presentations, one of the students got up. It was actually the very last presentation. And he said that though he had prepared something to talk about, now that he was up there, he wanted to tell a different story. He proceeded to tell us how he'd been taken into foster care this year, how he'd lived in a group home with other traumatized boys for 2 months, where there were no shower curtains or doors on the bathroom stalls, where he wasn't allowed to leave his bed after 9 o'clock, where he had to surrender his shoes at the door, and the only place he was allowed to go was school. His only crime was being born into a dysfunctional family. This kid is sweet and gifted and traumatized. As he was telling the story, he broke down, just completely broke down, sobbing, a teenage boy in front of a room full of peers. One of the staff got up and gave him a hug, Joshua, he's here, and held him for a minute, and the rest of us just sat silently. We just held the space for him. No one took out their phone, no one laughed or fled. We cried with him. He said every night when I was there, I would just try to go to sleep as early and as fast as I could so that morning would come and I could go be at LightHouse, the only safe place in my life. And I thought, thank God this unlikely miracle has worked. It's hard to believe that it's all come together and that LightHouse was able to be there for him. This is a young person who's actually brilliant. This spring he completed all of Algebra 1 with a 100% score in 2 weeks. He's a gifted musician, speaks multiple languages, and was dropping out of school before he came to LightHouse. What we're doing, this has to happen. School has looked more or less the same for 150 years, but that can change, and it needs to change, and we're doing it. We, as a community, all of us here together, because that's the only way it can work. So thank you to each of you for believing with us and for making it real. Thank you. Thanks. So, Josiah, would you come up here, please? I have a couple of things to say to you. So actually, I'm a little challenged by this mic. I have a couple of things I want to say to Josiah, but first I want to open the floor for anyone else. We want to keep it short. I think we're like a little behind schedule, and I know the band is really anxious to play. They brought all this gear. And so that said, I hope that you will stay and dance. The band is just going to be awesome. So I do want to move through this part quickly, but I want to give people an opportunity to speak. So we set up a mic over here, and my sound guy, John, is going to turn it on for us. So what we want to do is anyone who'd like to say a couple of words, you want to tell a story about your time with Josiah, or just express some gratitude. I think I have a couple of people that were willing to go first. One of them maybe is Natasha. Cass, hop up there. All right. So anyone else who would like to get a chance at the mic, go ahead and line up behind Cass. Yeah. And we'll just try to keep it just like 30 seconds or 1 minute each.
Oh, that's a little too close. Whoops, sorry. Oh, Josiah, I don't even know where to start. Well, we'll put it to my favorite. I graduated LightHouse last year. When I came into LightHouse, I had dropped out of school. I was pretty much done with school. I was sick of it, didn't want to do it anymore. And then my therapist at the time had found LightHouse. She was like, "Hey, Cass, there's this school, you know, it sounds good, you know, you should go." She was like, "Don't put all your eggs in one basket." I put all my eggs in that basket. And I don't regret it because every day, Catherine and Josiah pushed me. Even though how many times I tried to give up and I threw my hands up, I'm done, I don't want to do this. Without you guys, I wouldn't have a diploma. Without you guys, I wouldn't be in college. Without you guys, I probably wouldn't even be where I'm at in my life. And my heart literally sank when I got told that Josiah was leaving, because I was like, you know, Josiah always told me, "We're always gonna be here, Cass." And then, and then I was sitting there, I'm like, you remember that time where you told me you'd always be there, and like now you're leaving? So, but I wish you nothing but the best, Josiah, because you're awesome, and your heart is just pure gold, and I just hope nothing but safe travels, happy memories, new beginnings. I wish I could go to, what is it, Minnesota? I said Michigan, okay? It's okay, because Natasha thought, what did you say? Philadelphia. So, I mean, wherever you're going, I hope it's great. I wish nothing but the best, and I'm going to miss you so much. I'm going to give you a hug.
All right, Natasha,
Josiah.
you got to get right on that mic.
Well, it's kind of too low. Sorry. Josiah, you were there for me once I walked in, and you pushed me to the limit that I actually love going to school. And I really love LightHouse because of you and Catherine and Carlos and Aurelis, of course. But I'm really glad that you are living a happy life, and that I wish you have a safe trip. Oh, well.
Z, yeah, Z, move that mic to and like talk right. Put your mouth like right on it.
Thank you. So I think my favorite Josiah story is probably last year. Catherine set up remind text messages, and somehow a mistake was made in which my phone received a number for Josiah as well as a number for Catherine, and I started texting it. I would ask him questions, and he would always wonder, how in the world did Z get my number? Eventually, I stopped asking questions and started sending weird emojicons that I found on a Japanese keyboard. And now, we have upgraded that to Josiah's actual phone number and my actual phone number, thankfully, because otherwise it always said his name in front of the message. And we've upgraded to Bitmojis as well, instead of weird emojicons on a Japanese keyboard. And I am going to miss seeing Josiah in person every day, of course, but I am so glad for modern technology, because that means that I get to still send Josiah weird Bitmojis and call myself a cheese platter, and he gets to send weird Bitmojis back to me in which he threatens to eat that cheese platter. I'm gonna miss you.
So, I'm Max. Hi. When I came to Lighthouse, I was trying to figure out what school I wanted to go to. I had been in, I think Lighthouse is the 4th school that I've been in 3 years. So I had a lot of experience, and I wanted to make sure I was getting the best for my education. When I talked with Josiah and Catherine before the school year, and talking with them about what they did was enough to convince me to come. And when I came on the first day, I didn't know what to think. There's 40 people, and Josiah and Catherine and Carlos and Alonzo and Janine and Luce were all trying to convince us to talk to each other instead of to our phones. Once we got into classes, it worked a bit better. It was very awkward at first, and throughout the year, instead of doing math and history and a science class and a writing class, I made a video game, I made a robot, and I took a class on hostage negotiation. I took a class on game design. I took all of Ashley's classes. So I feel as though I've done way more than I ever could have done in the public school. And I think that the largest part of that was having an advisor, Josiah, who is willing to geek out over data, push me to do more, and give me feedback on everything that I did. Thank you, Josiah. I'm gonna miss you.
Hi, Josiah. I know I'm not like the perfect person ever, but I want to say thank you for like doing this, because I remember the first day I met you, I always talked to you about it, I went there, we were talking about something about cherries, like making giant cherries, and I was just some annoying little 12-year-old, and you never like gave up on me. I went home that night, I thought to myself, wow, I actually want to go to this school, because I never actually wanted to go to school. It was like, when am I going to graduate and go to college and just work? But Josiah, I'm going to miss you a lot.
Hey, Henry, before you go, I just wanted, so I'm going to shut the line down after Josh back there, because I know we could stay here. I mean, you're all here to celebrate Josiah, so we could really all get in line. But so get in line after the end later.
So when I first came to LightHouse, I struggled with things like social anxiety and feeling like my self-worth was based off of the views of others. And I feel like when I went to LightHouse, I was introduced to an environment that really cultivated the value of real relationships and not the type of thing where you're seeking validation of yourself. And I wanted to thank Josiah and everyone that has contributed to the community of LightHouse, the students, the staff, and everyone there. And I really thank Josiah and Catherine and the advisors for that. And I have to say, now, after having the experience of going to LightHouse, it really was enlightening and brought a way for me to realize how to create real relationships, and I'm really thankful for that, Josiah.
Hi, I'm Steve Fleiner, and I've gone to the Lighthouse for 45 years. Actually, I'm not a Lighthouse student. I met Josiah when he was 18, and he was a student at Hampshire College. and he moved into our house to be a nanny to our young daughters. And we had lots of talks about how fucked up the education system in the United States is. And we've persisted in having those talks over the last 20 plus years. And even back then, I think Josiah had a vision of alternative education that was idealistic and seemed impractical and pretty hard to pull off, but a really great idea. And it's been really a pleasure to watch him and Catherine and the others pull this off. It's very impressive. I'm retiring from my career as a psychotherapist in the fall, and maybe I'll have some time to do some work for you all.
I'll remember.
And volunteer, and yeah, I know you do. I used to work a lot with teenagers, and I haven't for a long time, but I've recently had a few on my caseload, and I've forgotten how much fun it is, and how much energy there is, and how much growth there is, and how much trauma there is. And anyway, it's really exciting, and so it has made me think about it. There's lots of personal connections here, which I won't go through, but we're really going to miss you, and you know that. And sorry to see you go, and wishing you the best for your future.
Hi, I'm Josh. I've been going to LightHouse for 3 years, and Josiah was my advisor for 2 of them. He pushed me to dual enroll with LightHouse and Holyoke Community College. At first, I really didn't want to do it, but he definitely pushed me to do it, and I thank him for that, and he will be dearly missed.
All right. No, stay no. Yeah. So it was just almost exactly 4 years ago, and I was the program director at North Star, the program that inspired LightHouse, and Josiah was on the board. And one night at a board meeting, he happened to mention that he was thinking about a career change. So I had this idea kicking around my head to open a program like North Star in Holyoke for years. And I had no idea how or if it was ever going to happen. And Josiah said that, and I went, So after the meeting, I said, hey, do you want to open a program like North Star in Holyoke with me? And he said yes. Well, actually, he said maybe. But for me, that means yes. So what has ensued has been the adventure of my lifetime and really a dream come true. It is not my preference for Josiah to leave, but I am deeply grateful for the working relationship that we have had. It's a highlight of my life. And he leaves me to lead a very stable organization, and that we're ready and we're sad. But he leaves me just deeply grateful for what it's been. So we have I have a little something here somewhere. So we have a little gift for Josiah. On behalf of the LightHouse staff and board of directors, this card is good for 1 round-trip ticket from Minnesota to Massachusetts. In June 2019. So we'll see him at graduation next June, and I hope we'll see all of you there too.
Wow. Can I just introduce you again, Carlos? This is amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all of you. This is overwhelming in a great way, but overwhelming. Hold on, I got to clear some of these papers here. You all know I can't stand a mess. It's all right. My parents are here. It's what parents are for. Dad? You know. Wow. All right. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you to all of our speakers this evening. I am so grateful to be here tonight with all of you in the company of my friends and my family and so many wonderful faces from my years at Hampshire College and my LightHouse family. Your presence here this evening in support of this incredible organization that we have built together means more to me than you know. So when I was considering what to say tonight, I thought back to that moment where Catherine and I first discussed this event, and that we discussed making this a celebration of all of us, a celebration of the pioneering work we have done together, and a chance to recognize the change we are making in the world. And that is truly what we've been doing here in Holyoke, and you've heard about it all night long. We've been making change, changing lives, and investing in our future. So it was 4 years ago, almost to the day, that Catherine and I had our first serious conversation about LightHouse. And it was June 19th, 2014 to be exact. And I have that date saved in a little spreadsheet of dates that I have. So that first short conversation evolved into an endless stream of meetings at just about every coffee shop in the valley. We'd get together, we'd think, we'd talk, we'd brainstorm, we'd go home highly overcaffeinated. And at the time, it all just seemed like a daydream. What if we built a center for personalized education in Holyoke? What if we were in the heart of the city? What if the downtown could be our campus? What if we had a beautiful modern facility? What if we could find talented artists, doers, and creators to teach classes? And what if we could make progressive education accessible to all, and most importantly, to traditionally underserved urban youth? And now, these dreams have become a reality. And 4 years later, we see time and time again from our students that a LightHouse education is empowering, restorative, and transformative. It's entirely overwhelming to see an idea, a small idea that two people talk about over a cup of coffee, become a community-engaged experiment in learning, now with 16 alumni, full enrollment with a waiting list, and a groundbreaking partnership with the public school system. We have served over 80 families from 20 different cities and towns, offered 160 classes taught by 65 talented teachers, and there are dozens and dozens of stories of success and change from many who are here in the room with us tonight. I want to congratulate all of us on reaching this milestone, because what was once just a crazy idea is now not only a reality, but one that is wildly successful and growing at an exponential rate. So congratulations to all of us on that. There are so many of you who helped to make this happen. And it's often challenging to imagine myself and Catherine as the co-directors or the leaders of this organization, because in truth, it's a village effort. As I look around this room, I see incredible teachers and volunteers, alumni, and friends of LightHouse. Tonight is not actually about me. Tonight is about all of us. Tonight we celebrate our achievements together and the students who we have the distinct privilege to support and to cheer on. There are two people, though, who do merit particular acknowledgement. Right now, everybody's thinking, is that me? Is he gonna say me? Do I have to stand up? Two people without whom none of us would be sitting here today. Because an idea is like a seed, and it needs nourishment to grow. And there are two people here who walked alongside me watering that seed that grew into this incredible tree. First, I want to recognize my amazing partner, Taliesin Niala. Stand up. You don't have to. So for those who don't know, I left my very stable job as Senior Associate Dean of Students at Hampshire College 4 years ago, after a decade, to begin this little expedition with Catherine. When I told Tally that Catherine and I were talking about starting our own nonprofit, she supported me unconditionally and without hesitation. Or she did a damn good job of making it seem like she did. And her support of me, of the realities of what a paycheck from a startup organization looks like, without her and without her support, none of us would be here today. Tally, you are my trusted advisor, my partner in life, and my constant source of creative inspiration. Thank you on behalf of all the people who have had and will have an opportunity at LightHouse now, all because you said, okay, let's do it. Thank you. So naturally, the other person without whom we would not be here today is my friend and my colleague and my co-founder, Catherine Gabron. Catherine, from the start, it was you and me. We both had dreams of launching our own organization, and we both benefited tremendously from this partnership. I can't imagine finding another human being to collaborate with whose skills and mine complement each other so very well. It's a bit of a joke at LightHouse if you stand outside of our offices, which are next to one another, and you look in. Catherine's office is gleaming in white. White walls, white furniture, glistening hardwood, bright sun shining through the massive window. Turn your head slightly to the right and look into my office, where you'll find gray walls, dark carpeting, gray and black furniture, and a giant window shade. I love that shade. But I don't think of us as opposites, either in interior decor or in our work together. I think of it as balance. So to collaborate with you and to create this living, breathing thing, and to build a center for educational innovation and a workplace that lives the values of the organization has been a fulfilling and life-changing journey for me. I am so grateful for that day 4 years ago when you said, hey, we should start a place together. And apparently I said yes. I think I said maybe. And we never looked back from there. Our journey isn't over, it's just evolving and growing. And the future is going to be even more exciting. Thank you so much. I'd kind of like to do this for each one of you now, if that's all right. So, as I thought about how I wanted to use this moment tonight, it basically boiled down to one essential thought, and it's this. True education is transformation. It's not memorization. It's not a set of scores and metrics. It's not even a diploma. True education is about learning, growing, and changing. And not into anything we prescribe, but rather into what each student themselves strives to become. So many times in these last years, I have gently reframed the conversation when people would say to me, oh, it's so amazing what you've done for these students. And the absolute truth I always tell them is that our students do it for themselves. We only provide a space and encouragement and support for them to succeed. It is the openness of our program, in fact, that allows them to become who they are fully and confidently. As a society, we are severely mistaken in our approach to educate young people by imposing restrictions and requirements. At LightHouse, we often spend the first weeks, months, or even years helping students to untangle this mess, to rise out of their past and see a future that is what they want it to be, to change a life trajectory, to aspire in ways they did not think possible before, all boils down to the simple act of respect. Because understand this, we are not changing them. They're not even changing themselves. Rather, our students are emerging. They are shedding layers of misinformation, of labeling, of judging, of being put on a track or into a pipeline, and of being told who they are. What we have been able to do is create a community rooted in compassion, respect, and authenticity, where young people have the chance to define themselves, not who we tell them to be. It has been one of the greatest and most humbling honors of my life to have the opportunity to build this with all of you. Last Friday at our graduation, I stood on the sideline watching our 7 graduates process in at the beginning of the ceremony. Watching their faces that day, hearing their words as they each spoke on stage, reminded me why this work is so absolutely crucial. Many times over these years now, I have been angry. I have been angry because our schools and our country have systematically disenfranchised so many of our young people. I hear the stories every time I meet with a new family at LightHouse. I experienced it myself. Many of us have. Bullying, anxiety, learning disabilities, harassment, racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, students living in misery or fear of the very places they are meant to be learning or growing in. LightHouse, in its very fiber, exists to interrupt this narrative and to reintroduce what education should be. Our work is just begun, and the future holds almost unlimited potential for where we take this from here. We all are part of a sea change in Holyoke, and a sea change, I hope, in education. Holyoke is an epicenter of innovators, of doers, of community builders, and of powerful voices. I am so proud to call Holyoke the home of LightHouse and my adopted city. Tonight's event is called Next Chapter because we sit on the precipice of what comes next. LightHouse now begins the next stage in its life, but it's also part of the ongoing evolution of the Holyoke community as well, of downtown, of the Innovation District, of our incredible, strong Puerto Rican community, of our deep historical roots as a center of innovation, and of our powerful and change-oriented youth. As our family prepares for our next great journey, I want you all to know that my heart is here with all of you at LightHouse, now and forever. I will never have enough words to tell you how deeply I feel the importance of this work to be, but I know that you see the impact of what we are doing in the stories and experiences of our students. I've been an educator my entire life, and an educator's dream is to help others. It's that simple. To affect the course of even one life is perhaps the greatest gift I can imagine receiving. And here, together, we have affected the course of dozens of lives and of hundreds more to come. I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for your support, your generosity, and most importantly, for your belief in LightHouse and our students. It means more to me than you can ever imagine. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please allow me to introduce my friend, Kim Saul.
So when they set up the agenda this evening, they gave me the task to talk after Josiah and before the band. Thanks a lot, Catherine. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to delay this a few more minutes. I first want to extend one more thank you that we sort of forgot, which was to Lori Devine Hudson. Thank you so much for everything that you've done to support Lighthouse over the years. So thank you. Secondly, can we all raise a glass? Not you, Josiah. We're all toasting you, so you're not allowed to. To Josiah. Best. So, Mickey started this evening telling a story about a fisherman. So, Mickey, guess what? I'm that student you were talking about. I'm a little delayed. It took me a while. But I'm going to tell a fishing story. And many of you might have heard this story before, but I'm going to spin the story a little bit differently. There's this beautiful beach down right over there, water there, the Holyoke beach. And there was this storm and high tide. And all the fish and starfish were thrown up on the shores of the beach. And on that beach were two people, an old man and a young boy. And the young boy was there throwing rocks and stones into the water. And he saw in the distance this old man, and he didn't know what the old man was doing. So he started walking over to the old man. As he got closer and closer to the old man, he saw the old man picking up a starfish and throwing a starfish back in the water. And he said to the old man, "What are you doing?" And the old man said, "I'm throwing starfish into the water." And he said, "Why are you doing that?" He says, "I'm trying to, help out a little bit." He says, "You got to be kidding me. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of starfish here. Why would you ever try to do that?" And the old man said, as he picked one up and threw it in, "Because it makes a difference to this one." And the young boy bent over and decided to help. And he too picked up a starfish and threw it back in the water. So tonight we are thanking Josiah, we are thanking Catherine, we're thanking the staff, the board, but really the thanks goes to all of you. Each one of you has contributed to Lighthouse. Without all of you, Lighthouse could not be here to a day. And when Josiah was leaving, we asked Josiah, how did he want to be recognized and remembered in Lighthouse? And he asked that a scholarship fund be set up. About 3/4 of the students at Lighthouse are supported by scholarship. Lighthouse could not exist without them. So right now I'm going to ask all the team captains to open up your envelopes and pass out to the people at the table an envelope, and really ask that each of you dig as deeply as you possibly can and support the Josiah Lacan Scholarship Fund. One thing you might think about doing is that there is a way to give on a monthly basis. A lot of us pay a lot of things on a monthly basis. It tends to be easier, and just think about that. But I ask you all to dig as deeply as possible. Once more, Josiah, we cannot thank you enough. He wasn't in trouble.
I'm just handing this out.
Josiah's disruptive. So folks, have a great evening, and we're gonna turn it over to the guys. Come on up, get the music.